Can start. I was like, I don't have a TA. Y'all want credit for coming, right? Yeah, we didn't have the attendance thing. Professor Oakes, Director of EPICS. Maybe you don't know who I am. We've got an exciting year. I was going through the slides, kind of catch you up to speed. And last year we're like, oh, we might be over 500. And it was a big thing last year. We're so over that. We're going to be about 600. Yeah, and I'll explain how. And I was going to take this off, and I was like, oh, there's got to be a cool image for 21st birthday, college, and there weren't any socially appropriate ones. So, did that one. We're up to 42 divisions, lab divisions. One of the reasons we're bigger is we added a second learning community. And learning communities, the first year classes are in classes of 120, so we have 240 first semester students. So physics 114 has like standing room only. What that means is a lot of your teams are going to have more first year students. So the ratio, we're going to have the highest percentage of first year students, which we think is going to be a temporary thing because we want to get, as we work at recruiting more juniors and seniors. But we've had over 400 students applying for the EPICS Learning Community, and we've had requests. So we had a company that gave us money for TA support and more money for projects, so we added the second learning community. That makes you all even more important, even if you come late. With the teams is you've got students that are going to come in that are all excited to be here, but they may need some mentoring for that. It also means if you've got friends that are sophomores, juniors, seniors that could benefit from the EPICS experience, we still have room for them. We're discouraging more first year students. In fact, the word out is like, oh, EPICS is totally full, they're not looking for any more students. Well, that's what we're telling the first year students. Just because there are enough, but we've still got room over that. And we're excited about that. Continuing to grow, we're now up to 36 universities. We've got EPICS high schools in 17 states. We spent the summer going all over training teachers and other faculty. We've got about 10 universities in India that have started EPICS programs. Some of those will be doing some joint projects with. Our staff has gone through some change. Carla Zoltowski, who many of you knew, right? Yeah, she got she moved over to a faculty slot, which is real cool for her. She's in electrical and computer engineering. She's still going to do some of the teams, but she's now moved over to a faculty role. What that did is we moved Andrew Pierce, who was our lab manager, over to the academic administrator role. So a lot of the interactions that we had with Carla, you'll have with Andrew. Now, he was lab manager. So what you notice is there's not a lab manager. We will be hiring a new lab manager sometime in this semester. So if you're looking for him, he's now got 2 offices that he can hide in. For that, we also got a new secretary, same desk. Anna Rainwater is the secretary. And as part of the college growth, EPICS now has 2 full-time instructors. Tim Stree, that's advising about 6 teams or so. We added him last year. His background's mechanical engineering. Nuseba is electrical and computer engineering. She's got her master's from Purdue, so you may see her around there. So I'm excited about just more of the full-time staff. You're going to see some other people with that. And you will see Andrew over in that. Now, I'm real excited about this year. And to fulfill our hopes and dreams and expectations falls on your shoulders. When you go in to the team, I really have seen it over and over again, that first lab meeting can really set a tone in how you approach things. Think of yourself as a leader. Whether you've got a formal leader role or not, is the other students are going to look to you. Those of you that are returning on the same team, if you can talk before the first lab to be a little coordinated. I love it when I see that the returning students have things coordinated. Who's the project manager? Boom, let's talk about the different projects, get the new students onto teams, get them off and going. The teams that really fly get busy that first and second week. So you want to spend some time thinking about what you're going to do over in the lab. Having summaries ready. And it's a real energy drain when they come in and go, oh, yeah, we should find, where were those slides from the design review or whatever out on the SharePoint? They don't have to be exhaustive. And actually, the design review slides are probably not a good thing to bring up for the new students, as you want just quick summaries. There may be slides that you can pull. But thinking about how you can summarize what's done on the project. Now, there's a thing that I see a lot in design reviews. How do you think the quality of documentation from the previous semester is generally described in design reviews? Outstanding? Wonderful? So if I stand up and go, wow, last semester was so bad with EPICS. The staff didn't know what they were doing. The instructors were horrible. The lab was disorganized. How would that make you feel? Okay, I got like all kinds of time. So we can get out early if you talk a lot, or we can drag this out. That make you feel excited to be here? No. If I was saying, hey, I want you to buy this stuff from my company, and you know what? Last year's engineers were terrible. They didn't meet the project deadlines. They were over budget. They were unreliable. But I want you to hire us because we're better this year. Would you? No. Why do you think teams consistently badmouth the previous semester?
They want to look better.
Better than what?
The last semester, you do better than that following semester.
Well, but, okay, so think about this. They want to do better, but it's like, oh, they were terrible. So we're just bad. Right? It's kind of human nature to go, do you know how hard it was on us? You have no idea. We have worked so hard. Why? Because I'm a student and I want points. And I want effort points. And I want to get a good grade, right? Oh, come on. We all know, right? So it's like, you don't understand how hard it was. We had it really hard. Throw that out. Part of it is, and you all returning. So this is what I don't get too. I hear returning students, oh, last semester was terrible. Weren't you on the team? Yes, and I sucked. But I'm better now, so you can give me a good grade. Or it's like, well, I know what I got last time, so I don't have to work as hard, and I'm going to get the same grade. You want to set the tone. I understand, because I've read a lot of your reports and stuff. There are challenges with previous semesters. But I'll tell you, in the companies I work for, if I got up and I badmouthed the previous people, I would have been fired. Because they don't, my bosses cared about the brand, the company brand, much more than just me as an individual. And so if I get out and I damage the brand, I can do more damage to that. And honestly, they didn't care how bad it was. All they cared about was, here's what I was responsible for. So you all can set a lot of the tone as, yes, there were challenges, yes, there were things, and by the way, you were partially responsible for that, but you can learn from that and improve, but what is. What you have is what you have, and figure out how to move forward from that. So I think something that would really help is for us to say, okay, we're not going to badmouth previous semesters or previous designs, and there's trade-offs. And I'll tell you, when you get out in industry or you get a job, there are times as a design engineer I was handed something and I couldn't say, well, the original design engineer, who's now our vice president, didn't know what he was doing. Couldn't walk into his office and go, you're an idiot. Well, actually, I could have once, right? And then I would have had to pack and find another job. Watch how you talk about the other semester. Watch how the expectations are. There may be things you want to revisit, but you can talk. So just as you, and I appreciate what you said, is like, you know what, we're going to do better. Last semester set a good foundation. You know what, we've actually done even better than that. Here's the things that we've done. The design reviewers that come from industry, by the way, will pick that up. They understand the challenges, but you want to focus over on the positives, and that's going to help your team when you come in to say, okay, here's what the things are, here's what we're doing. Let's try to look at a manageable timeline to look at being successful. Also, really think about the transition that you have, that you're living, and make some notes to look toward the end of the semester. Something we're going to try to emphasize is as we get close to the semester, try to get you thinking before. We've kind of gotten in the habit of, oh, that last design review, you get through that, whew, okay, let's wrap things up and be done. Design reviews in the fall are the last week. So we're going to want you thinking about how to transition before you hit that design review so the spring semester is even more smooth. Think about your community partners. How many of you think your team has a great, that the students on your team last semester had a great awareness and feeling for their community partners? Okay, some hands. So there's some good things, some improvement. Think about what might help with that. What are some things that you could do as a team? As returning students, you're not required to go to the intro lectures. If there are things that you could do with yourself or with some of your teammates to get to know your community partner more, you can use those as skill session credits. So 1 credit students, you have 5 hours. This is 1. 2 credit students, you have 10 hours. Those can be all kinds of things. You can suggest things to your advisor to say, hey, we'd like to do this, and can we use this for some skill session credit? Teams that understand their partner tend to do better during the semester. And you could use these for team building. When I used to be on Habitat, for example, we'd schedule every fall a day or half day where we'd go out and build. And part of that's a team building, part of it's a shared experience. It also gets our community partner. If there's something you can do for the community partner, even if it's just a service thing to get over, those things can help. Budgets. Every fall we redo all the budgets. Your budget right now is 0. Actually, it's $200. Every team can spend up to $200 without a budget, but you're going to want to set a budget for the year. We've had companies generous again. This year we got a pot of money. We have 42 divisions, though. We're splitting it up. If your team does not get a budget in, when we've approved them, you combine November, December, and say, oh, we want to spend money. We might have it all allocated. So get somebody to get the budget. Get your financial officer to get a budget in. If your project is doing something in the $1,000 or more range, there are engagement grants. I've got it on a slide up. Remember these first 4 weeks, these first few weeks, the intent is get up to speed, figure out where the projects were, get everybody on the same page, get a semester plan and a budget and going. By week 4, you should be moving at full speed, hopefully before that. Design reviews, the design review 1 is in week 7, October 3rd through 7th. We've gotten away from, a lot of teams are not inviting, they're just relying on our invitations. Want to be explicit, your team should look at it, inviting at least 2 people from Purdue. And if your teams meet at 10:30 or 1:30, you can invite them for lunch. We have lunch for the design reviewers, 12:30 to 1:30, if that helps. We do have breakfast. If you have a 3:30 team, sorry, we don't serve dinner. But there's coffee. But be looking for a couple people on campus. One, that helps us with the visibility on campus to get other people to get to know. They could be graduate students, they could be staff, they could be faculty. Great thing to get the new students. It's like, oh yeah, what professors might you have? Invite one of them to the design review. The other thing it can help, we've got a lot of corporate people that come. But like somebody may say, I'm going to come on Tuesday because I want to see the glass team because my expertise is there. That's fine, but they're there for the whole day. So their technical expertise, their disciplinary knowledge might not match up for the whole day. As a team, if you look at what kind of disciplinary expertise do you need, we should be able to find that on campus. If you need help, let us know, but that's something to make sure. We also had a thing in the design review, I love it. Our spring semester, which started in January, the design review that was in February, we had snow, and so we had one day a bunch of the people canceled. So that helps us buffer. Does that make sense? Right, you know the same routine mid-semester, we're grading week 15. I mentioned for that. The budgets, the service learning grants are available. You can get up to $1,500 for a project. The requirement, though, is you have to have an external community partner that can sign the form. So those of you that have a Purdue entity as a partner, we can't do that. But if it's an external one, that's great. I think last year we had like $14,000 in the grants, and they like us spending the money. The grants are due October 1, so we got to get on those. All right. So we talked about a couple areas of emphasis with the advisors. I want you to think for a moment, just to yourself, what could we do to speed the development time of our projects? Think about that for a minute. Okay, I'm going to have you share, but first, I want you to think, we're going to vote here, okay? I'm going to give you 3 choices. If you think of the EPICS projects you're aware of, and you were thinking about this, I'm going to say cycle time, from where we identify a need to where we've delivered a project. The projects you're familiar with, would you say that cycle time is too long, about right, too short? Okay. How many think too long? How many about right? Too short. Awesome. We got, okay. Find a couple people around. Just share what you were thinking with that. 2, 3, 4 people near. Yeah, that means you have to talk to people around you. Turn, share. This is the awkward part of the video. I still have your trophy in my office.
Still have it?
Yes. Well, I didn't take it. All right, what are a couple good ideas or few ideas? Yes. Oh, did you hear that? Focus on getting, I'm going to try to repeat exactly, a minimal viable product and not a perfect design. That's a great point. So the pedagogy, the type of course we run is called a service learning class. So the service we provide are the projects. The learning is the design and the teamwork. It's actually one of the reasons, so the person who's in charge of the whole section, the lab division, is called what? The advisor? Oh, that's good. Not really, though. At least on my teams. The student, the student in charge has the project manager, right? And the person in charge of the smaller groups is called the design lead. Okay, and we did that because in industry, the project manager would actually control the money, and they want it done yesterday. The design lead wants it perfect, right? The designer, and I came out of design, is like, oh, we need more time, we need more money. Like, I can't get that. So there's a tension between. But a lot of this is having a conversation on your team about what's good enough for the partner. Now, often, you've got these great ideas. Okay, let's park them over here in the report. Let's get a product out. I use the software kind of stuff. We deliver version 1.0. Let's start working on version 2. Some of our really successful projects have had that, and then we can go out, and then you've got the partner using something. Okay. Something else. Yes?
Are you coming up with a document or compiling a list of things that people have tried and it hasn't worked in the past? So
Okay.
revisit ideas over and over again semester after semester.
So the design document, having things that not only that worked, but making sure that you've got appendices or something to point to of other things that have been tried, right? So that's organizing the design documents. Yes?
If you need resources, ask and go out and find them.
Yeah! Who? That's great. So if you need resources, ask. Who would be good to ask?
Well, as a freshman, I was thrown onto a coding project, having no coding experience. So we asked like the older students in EPICS with us, and then we also reached out to an app coding club on campus so that they could help us.
Ask the advisors, ask the TAs, ask us. It's one of the cool things at Purdue is we do have resources, so if we can find things, that's great. One more, or two more. Here, yes?
I think design process is very important. And one thing I kind of learned this summer was agile delivery. So in the sense of focusing on, like, instead of from start to finish, like one full project, like learning as a team how to break it down into smaller projects.
Okay.
So that it's like iterational instead of just going from start to finish, and then you actually see that it's like reducing time because you're
So focusing on parts of the design process. Let's get this next part working, and then move to the next piece, right? So it's breaking up the bigger semester plan. So part of that is, having successes like in your timelines. It's here's a deadline. You call it a milestone or whatever. Okay, by the next design review, this is what we have to have, and then celebrate that too. Yes.
Figuring out what skill set you have on the team and then delegating tasks according to those skill sets.
Okay. Finding out what skill sets that you have. It also may mean, I don't know if any of you are on a team that might be wondering if one of the projects is cursed. I've had them on teams I've advised. I'm like, something's not. Like, this project should work, but it just keeps black hole. It's okay to kill a project or have the conversation about, this project's going through, do we have the right expertise? And let's move to something maybe that we could deliver to for that. Okay, I want you to think best practices. What are things that you've seen that have worked with connecting with our project partners? Yes.
I know last year for class we went and like sat with our project partner with his meetings with his clients, and that helped us to really understand like the broader scope of the project.
Okay, actually get to see and sit with them actually working with their clients? Okay, yes.
We were constantly emailing our project partner's parents because he was a 13-year-old boy. So we were emailing them about like what his problem was. So he has a below the knee amputation. So our project was to design a prosthetic for him. So we were emailing them about when we could meet with them. We were asking questions about his current prosthetic, things like that.
So you're harassing the parents, or, yeah. Okay, but you found other people that were involved and communicated with them on a regular basis, weekly basis.
Yeah.
Some of our partners are up for that kind of communication, some are not. And it's not to put value, but it's finding out like the frequency. Yes?
Our project partner was international,
Uh-huh.
so we had to like carefully plan out a couple Skype dates where all of us would get together and meet with them via Skype.
The further you go away, the harder it can be, but it's also finding other information. You know, how do we learn about the culture? One of the cool things with Purdue, we probably can find people, almost any culture in the world, here on campus, or finding other people that have been there. Yes?
We were just like really friendly with our partner, even outside of like the design process. So I think that she kind of just came to the point where she liked us a lot. So she was just hanging out with us a lot, and it was easy for us to ask her questions because she would be around a lot.
So you're doing things with the partner?
Yeah.
That's what I've seen, like some of the teams will do things. I use Habitat as an example. We went off and did some things with them. The construction managers and all those folks, you got to meet them off-site.
Right.
Made them better. Yes?
Specifically, my team's project partner has an annual event for a bunch of outreach, as an educational outreach program.
Uh-huh.
So it helps that our entire team actually volunteers for that event,
Uh-huh.
and we help out and we kind of understand what we do with the kids.
And that can be great. Did they use that? Did you use that for skill session credit? We didn't have that discussion. Well, I mean, some of the, so the idea on the skill session or lecture requirement is, believe it or not to punish you, but it's to get you to think about what kinds of things should I be doing outside of lab to develop my skill set. That's really the intent. To keep up my professional engineering license, I have to do so many professional development hours each year. They're not a restriction on what, I mean, there's categories, but that's the kind of thing. But those kinds of events can be great. Yes?
Well, because our community partner is in Ireland, and they're also trying to expand, so sometimes our Skype meetings don't work, so it really helps to talk to people who've gone to Ireland on Maymaster. They did or changed Maymaster past night for specifically our EPICS team. So we talked to those people who've been there, and that really helps us become familiar